I'm Mike Zima, a digital marketing expert and Fiverr Pro top-rated seller with over 1,000 reviews. Today, I'm launching my How to Succeed on Fiverr course so entrepreneurs all over the world can take advantage of growing their micro business on Fiverr. Fiverr is a thriving marketplace and it's going to grow into different markets, into different languages very quickly. So there is a big opportunity for people to actually start their micro business on Fiverr, and I'll be translating this course into multiple languages so everyone can take advantage of it. We started on Fiverr 5 years ago and really took advantage of everything along the way. From selling 1 gig to becoming Fiverr Pro top-rated seller, it's been quite a journey. It couldn't have been possible if Fiverr wasn't around for my partner and I to start a business together and really conceive a lot of these business philosophies that we've developed and cultivated into our remote work business. Our mission is to make marketing and digital marketing services affordable and available to businesses all over the world online through our unique business model. And this course is going to teach you all of the business rhetoric that we've learned and give you the framework to apply this success blueprint to your business to thrive on Fiverr and also develop the infrastructure to be a remote work business. The relationship that we've had on Fiverr has been deep. I was the only seller mentioned in the Fiverr IPO pitch deck. They flew out and interviewed me and played a video at the New York Stock Exchange as well. So the praise that we give Fiverr has also reciprocated into a lot of success. And we look forward to diving into this course with you. And along the way, you'll have some great goodies that we baked in tracking your business, in understanding how to measure your revenue and track your revenue with a dashboard. So come along with me and I'm going to break it down for you right now. How to Succeed on Fiverr by Mike Zima and the team behind Zima Media. I'm going to walk you through the introduction and break down the episodes in this tutorial, and you'll learn all of the techniques that not only have turned me into a top-rated pro seller on Fiverr, they're also techniques I apply in my business, and the business model that we've developed is invaluable. It not only does it help Fiverr sellers become more effective and become more business savvy in their own rights, it also is the future of work that we're all setting out to build together here on the Fiverr marketplace. So I hope to inspire you to not only boost your Fiverr profile, but also engage in the community by working together to build this future. We can all work online, and this is what's incredible today. So How to Succeed on Fiverr is a multi-series tutorial. I wrote it 2 years ago on a plane coming from a trip with my family, and I wrote this on the plane back and forth, and this was 2 years ago, and I came around to it, I re-edited it a year ago, and now just approaching 2020, I completed this series with a number of different people helping out to make it possible so we can get the story out of how we achieve the future of work and how we apply those same results to our customers. Part 1. Just starting out on Fiverr. We've all been there, and welcome to Fiverr. This is a great place to start, and you'll learn so much by reviewing these different sections. So a little bit about myself. I had graduated from college, but I did not feel like a winner of my career choice of marketing. Social media was the thing. Agencies did not know what to do with it. Businesses did not know what to do with it. And somehow I was an expert after graduating college from Columbia. After going to interviews with top advertising agencies in Chicago, the realization hit me. I'm going to be posting on Twitter for a living. Eventually, I did find that job after freelancing and looking for new opportunities. I freelanced at Artists and Talent. The CEO, Bijan Dordi, is a big influence of mine. And I did freelancing, which eventually got me really on track with SEO down the line. But I started working as a digital director of Chicago Public Schools, creating video. We did Vines, we did Instagram, we did everything with boots on the ground. So we were a real-time media team, which is a big influence. But ultimately, what I wanted to do is I started to fall in love with the data. When I started posting on social media and you have millions of followers on your profile, you start to look in the data and you start to see the story it unfolds. So my wife and I, this is mostly a love story. This is where it begins because We found our true passion in travel, and we actually married abroad. We live abroad. I'm an expat from Chicago. So it's really interesting because between resumes and interviews, I bought a gig on Fiverr to fix up my resume. And then I started to start some gigs too. I had a buddy, Arthur. He thought it was funny, and he bought his first gig. We've known about Fiverr since about 2011, but it wasn't until I came back to Fiverr. So this is the second time I started up Fiverr. So I had a profile with no reviews, which is not really appealing. But after 2 weeks of me getting my first order, second order, third order, on October 30th, 2014, I had my first real sale. This service was long since deleted. It was setting up a website for $5. My second happened on November 11th, 2014, where I wrote AdWord copy and earned another $5 in revenue. I had a second order in November, bringing me up to $10 in sales for the month. And this is very important because the sale, no matter how big or small it is very important to a buyer. So those first few sales are magical, and you really have to put everything you have into those sales. And the more you put in the very beginning, the more you'll be able to take out from your business in the future. So remember that you're not wasting your time, you're investing your time. So ignore anybody that has any doubts of you starting on Fiverr. It would have been silly. When I first started making money on Fiverr, I told my wife, and I was in the shower actually, and I made $10 in sales. Like, I made $5 today. No, wait, I made $10. So what's interesting is, I quit my job at Chicago Public Schools to marry my wife. I relocated abroad. I was influenced by data. I started relearning my skills and reapplying myself to actually get back on track to get into the agency world and actually apply myself in a different way. So I started with Google Analytics certifications, Google Ads certifications. I completely reinvented myself. These were all digital marketing techniques I knew about, I've used before, I've used them in practice, but I never was certified. So I thought that was the most logical step in my business pursuit. So naturally, as I got really certified, I created on December 6, 2014, was my first Google Analytics order sale of the month. The Google Analytics category had nobody in it at the time. It was only me and maybe 2 or 3 other people. But this gig completely reinvented my career, business, and lifestyle of living abroad. What set things in motion was my anchor gig, which I'm going to explain later. That December, I had 34 orders. And it was because that service had generated many impressions on Fiverr, which later translated to sales from my other complementary services. So it just started to ripple and knock over dominoes. So small successes. On December 14th is when I reached level 1 on Fiverr, and soon after, on January 5th, I started my new job at a marketing agency and flew out to Los Angeles. It was that day I reached level 2 on Fiverr, literally walking into the agency at my new job, and I had the most significant order to date. And the Fiverr train took off. On my lunch breaks, I would pitch services to inbound messages, and after work, proceeded to complete orders. Anytime I had free, I was working on Fiverr. Fiverr allowed me to test and refine every idea as I worked with real agency clients daily. You work with real businesses on Fiverr. There's a lot of people starting out, but there's also a lot of businesses. Even if you're selling gigs for $5, you'll come across them. And I was consistently practicing new skills I developed exclusively on Fiverr into my career. It's real-time experience and it's real-time problem solving. You don't get this type of experience unless you're working at a significant company or a significant agency. You just get the same world-class experience. And if you know how to take advantage of it, you can succeed and get promoted. So this is the course overview. It's broken up into 7 sections. The first section is going to be technology and automation to handle clients. This is the most important one. How do you manage and run your business? We spent years building, testing, and developing a system to launch our success to become top-rated sellers and ultimately becoming Fiverr Pro, and how we did that. Design a great gig that cements your position in the marketplace. This is very important, and it's true in almost every business situation. Having a service that sticks out will catapult your Fiverr businesses. Take advantage of the partnership that Fiverr offers. Build a business with trust in Fiverr, made by doers and delivered to customers all over the world. Build viable gigs quickly. Avoid wasting hours building gigs that fail. Make money with gigs that succeed instead. The technology stack. This is really important, and how you make a decision in the technologies you use to manage your business is going to be very important. I'm going to highlight some technologies here and just talk about them in concept. This is not going to be a tutorial on how to implement the technology. If you want me to make one, you can ask, and if there's enough interest, I'll go ahead and do that. So first, the Fiverr overview. When you're a seller, there are 3 places you'll spend the most time: the dashboard, messages, and order pages. Make sure to bookmark these on your Chrome so you can quickly click to them. You don't want to be clicking through the folders anymore. Bookmark the most important places. Even bookmark orders that are very important and delete them later. Messages. Handle them how you handle emails. It's essential to answer each message from a potential buyer continually. Focus on solving their question with one solution. Sometimes buyers do not know what they want and they need a simple solution. Develop a system to check messages on mobile and when working throughout the day. This is Dan, a relationship I created with on Fiverr. We send business to each other on Fiverr all the time, so it's important to really take advantage of the networking you can do to build strong agencies, relationships, or strong business relationships, and also start to forge relationships to create studios. Now, the dashboard is important. This will give you a breakdown of your orders and your messages. It is a little overwhelming, but this is the hub of notifications and where you're going to spend a lot of your time navigating orders. It is excellent for tracking order timelines, seeing notifications from requests in real time, and adding items to checklists. After about 20 orders, the timeline is going to become clouded and virtually useless. We are going to solve this problem with the technology stack. This is what has allowed us to handle hundreds, if not thousands, of orders if we needed to, because we have the system in place. The order page, this is really important. You're going to have to remind your clients to talk to you on the order page. They'll talk to you in the inbox. You don't want to have conversations going in 2 places because either the client or yourself are going to miss something. So it's important to keep communication in one place consistently. Always, have your buyer communication in pages. This is only going to confuse them, and ask them for their names so you can easily address them. It's impossible to keep track of the hundreds of usernames from experience. Set expectations up front, give helpful tips, and friendly reminders. The technology stack integration. So the technology you can really use with Fiverr is very limited. Unfortunately, it's powered by IFTTT. It won't give you as nearly the bandwidth that you can achieve with Zapier, but with some IFTTT and a couple plugins that I made from IFTTT, you can use Google Drive, Trello, and Slack all together to power your Fiverr machine. So this is the most typical setup, and I'm going to show you how we achieve this. So the technology overview, I cannot speak for the designers and the creatives on Fiverr. They have a different set of tools, technology, and organization that has to happen. I can, however, recommend how to track documents, spreadsheets, and clients in a Google Drive. And this is going to be very simple. Google Drive is free and anyone can set it up. And I'd highly recommend you use Google Drive to power your business because it'll be so much easier to keep track of not only your work, but the timeline and the flow of your work, because this is your business, this is your success, this is your portfolio. Project management. The reason I am a top-rated pro seller on Fiverr is because of the years in planning and preparation I put into my micro agency. You are not going to have to spend years testing, learning, and mastering how to have a base to grow to make the thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars a month. The backbone is going to be your cloud office. We like Google Drive, and we're going to reveal our most important secrets. So this is the file structure. It's very important in how you manage this in Google Drive. An example I can give you here is create a Fiverr folder where you'll save all your work, and you want to number the folders from 00 to 20. So 01, 02, 03. I like to have higher numbers for more live gigs and lower numbers for least active gigs. This is a preference, but it helps you start managing the different gigs that you have. Add the number of the correct gig and the number along with it. So I did 01 plus Google Analytics, and repeat the process within the folder. You can add as many as you want, as you can call them the gigs, and you can create folders quickly, and then within those folders you can have client folders. So In this organization exercise, I want you to take a look at how I broke this off. This is a one-off project. You can think of your gig as also the different packages you have. In my Google Analytics gig, I had some templates. So I had my delivery templates. I had other objectives that I was trying to solve because I was working on so many orders all the time. I had my basic gig. I stored all my basic gig deliveries here, all my standard delivery gigs here, and all of my premium gig deliveries here, because it allowed me to see 3 different versions of the gig and how I can improve, enhance it. I started creating new gig extras implementations. I started building relationships with clients and how I can offer them more services, custom reports, custom services, e-commerce information, event tracking guides, implementation plan, measurement plan. It just allows you to build so much. And right here within this folder, I had ideas for 5 or 8 different gigs with very little effort, because this is something you're doing naturally. As you start doing something, you'll notice you're not including that as a part of your gig, but you can create a new gig out of it. That's a great opportunity for you to expand your Fiverr business. The client example, this is how we do it. There's a couple ways you can eliminate some of these fields, but you want to make sure that when you're doing your orders, we just do a simple date. We add the client URL to the plan, and then we add the username. So this will help you coordinate the username between the order. You can also have the link to your orders within Drive as well, if you want to do that inside of a document, for example. And then the price, so it gives you a sense of what the budget for the project is. When you look at the example here, sometimes you deliver specific services, and the examples we can use a report, and these reports are created often and delivered to the same client. So within your folder, you have your folder gig, and then you have package 1, 2, 3, and then you have your naming convention, which is going to be date, project label, and username. So the project label can be a URL, it can be your basic, standard, or premium. It's up to you. Making sure that the date follows a Gregorian calendar. It helps with sorting. It gets everything in order, so it's easier to find in Google. Sometimes sorting works differently depending on the country you're in. Project labels, if you have a lot of orders, you might want to label them differently to help you differentiate priorities. And then usernames always, so you can at least keep track of who is ordering. If you have a username come up and they ask you, oh, can you resend something to me? You go into Google Drive, drop in their username, and you can send them that folder. It's really that easy to keep track of your work. So your organization strategy. Sometimes you have different packages, services, one-off reports, and client folders that are continually doing business with you. Use your best judgment to organize your folders for each gig. The higher the number in the organization, the more critical it is. So you have to stay consistent with that. Now, you're going to want to reach different levels on Fiverr. You're going to want to be promoted. If you're going to succeed on Fiverr, it's going to happen one of 2 ways. You're good at advertising services, or you have a top-rated service. Here's a success that made my gig featured, made me a top-rated seller, turned a hobby into a career, and became a pro seller on Fiverr. So you'll notice that I have a lot of different gigs. Some of them are active, some of them are not active, but I've created dozens, if not over 100 gigs by now, and deleted many of them because of the limits on Fiverr and how many gigs you can create. So it's really important to come up with a catchy tagline and consider using power words for your title and description. You want to be direct in what the client is getting, so you can try to look at Fiverr search to find different types of gigs and get some ideas. So when you create the offer, you want to make sure you have your title. Sometimes gigs offer SEO titles that you can optimize, and in this case, I need to optimize this since I haven't yet. You have your categories, you have your services, and then you have the keyword tags that you want to add into your gig. So you want to make sure at least some of your keyword tags are matching up with what your gig title is, because they'll give you better optimization. The Zima Media Offer Explained. We've come up with a process to launch gigs and how we can do this relatively quickly, but you have to find your own way to develop this technique, but it's about speed and efficiency. So first, I'm going to talk about discoverability. When you create a big gig, so my Google analytics gig, my HTML gig was my first gig that catapulted me. It was my first anchor gig. So it catapulted my orders, profits, and exposure on Fiverr. Fiverr uses different ranking criteria, but I can recommend you should have an excellent service, personality, and confident that will always boost your sales. The gig was receiving tens of thousands of impressions a month and hundreds of clicks. Fiverr is fantastic at discovering new gigs. It would feature more of my gigs at the bottom of my gig page. Every seller's gig is like this now, and they have moved to interlinking services. So when you have people on your gig page, it allows people to discover more gigs within your gigs or other gigs. And it only increased the discoverability and allowed me to have more sales, which is how my Google Analytics gig really took off. When you look at your gig analytics, you get a sense of where your buyers are coming from. You will have buyers from all over the world, so it's quite incredible the exposure you're going to get. And you have to really find your secret passion here. So I call this a gig secret. Find a gig that you want to learn or you want to master in your career. Let's say you're working in an office, you're not doing enough of something that is truly your passion. Create a service on Fiverr about your true professional pursuit. This is my secret. This is everything I put into my gigs. And if I don't think it is meaningful to put this into a gig, I'm not going to launch the gig or I'm going to close it down. I have to have this gig secret working for me in a sense that it actually maps back to something beneficial in my personal or professional development. I'm going to demo how to search Fiverr. You can define the gig category you're trying to enrich your life with and grow. You can explore that category, and you can create established gigs and new gigs by looking at what's working and where you can add value where there is some missed opportunity. So we'll just demo that now. Okay, so I want to start a new chatbot service. So I'm going to go and look for inspiration here. Fiverr does have this little quick helper here that gives you some information, but I just want to look at chatbot development and see what people are doing. I'm pretty geeky, so I like to get technical. So I can look at all the different options here. You can look at sellers that are online. You can change the different review, the different preferences. Make sure you look at the best selling and the new ones. So first we'll start with the best selling. Let's see what the best selling is. And it looks like there isn't too much competition. I'm only seeing gigs with a couple of reviews and some gigs with no reviews. So I can so let's go to the first recommendation. Let's get 3 of these. Develop a chat bot, trading bot. Okay, some cool ones here. And then AI chat bot. So I'll look at those. And then I'll look at the newest arrivals. Really isn't too much newest arrivals. And then I'll look at it there. So I'll be exploring these different gigs. So when you're exploring these gigs, make sure you explore the packages, the price, the description, the images. Make sure you take a look at all the different features, the reviews, and also the related tags. And you can explore these gigs one by one. You can see they're all within a similar price range in this case. And this one is doing an interesting strategy, $5 on the first gig, and then higher packages on the follow-up of the gig. And you can see what other sellers are doing. So it's pretty clever in how some of these sellers are trying to position themselves to create a chatbot. And you can see some of these high-end services have these really elaborate chat boxes here. And then there's this elaborate chat box development here starting at $900. So working with these different sellers will allow you to, one, maybe you can ask them questions. I've seen some great experiences talking to different people on Fiverr about what they're doing, but everything should be visible here. If they have a couple sales and a couple of orders, it's based off of how they created this gig. So make sure you pay close attention in my rapid prototyping for my gig in the next section that we'll go through shortly. Now get our gig creation template. Easily track new gig concepts in this spreadsheet, research competitors, and build a blueprint for your offer. Go ahead and find the link in the description or click on this link now. The Anchor Gig Checklist. Remember, when creating a gig, the gig is about you. Build a gig around what you love to do or want to do. Share your personality. Create a clear message. Do not waste too much time researching, and do not make another logo gig. Now I'm going to start the barter marketing section. This is a very interesting concept that I have developed as a marketer. It may be hard to understand, but it will help you at least get on a firm footing of your own marketing and how to build a partnership on Fiverr. Fiverr is a partnership. Everyone complains that Fiverr takes too much of a 20% commission. I'm very content because people fail to miss a pain point every small business has. Marketing is still going to cost you something, and acquiring new leads can be expensive. Here's the analytics proof. In my best months, I had over 100,000 impressions on one of my services with nearly 4,000 clicks in a month. With over $1 a click for marketing services in Chicago on AdWords, I was pocketing that money. As soon as you realize that your Fiverr store is an asset, you will start growing. Infrastructure. The commission you give to Fiverr pays for the marketing infrastructure, and it is almost like rent for your store too. Don't be naive that there's no cost to doing business. Learn your business. Having a micro business on Fiverr is similar to a renaissance. As your business grows, you will need to find clever ways to increase productivity, improve your communications, and manage tight deadlines with new business opportunity. Fiverr allowed me to handle over 100 orders a month because of skills that I honed during my early days in the technology stack section. Now concentrate on your marketing. Since this course does not talk about marketing strategies, you will need to build a marketing plan yourself. The best piece of advice is your plan should not be more than one piece of paper. This includes your business plan and your marketing plan. Do not be distracted planning. Be busy doing gigs instead. Be a doer. From the small beginnings, since I did not become an overnight success, here are a few of my attempts. I would post ads locally about my service on Craigslist because why not? The couch turned out all right. Did it generate any sales? It's hard to tell, but you will see increases in your analytics if that is the case. Google+. This one's not around anymore, but there were a lot of active groups on Google+, and I would advise going into LinkedIn now as an alternative because LinkedIn is probably the best place to connect with buyers and sellers and also network with people within your industry to build up your profile as an expert in your class. So it's important to take advantage of LinkedIn when you can. Some barter marketing tips. Do not be ashamed if you feel like you're going backwards. You may have a comfortable career that pays you more than $5 a gig. Learn your business. Evaluate how you can market to clients off Fiverr and build a plan. The power of barter marketing. Fiverr brings you people looking for your products every single day. Fiverr is your partner and will do everything it can to grow your business. The Wright brothers made bicycles before they could fly, and they had to walk before they could learn to ride a bike. Each step is going to happen if you are patient. Believe in your business. It helps when others around you believe in you too. Rapid gig prototyping. This is a fun one. Launching gigs is pretty simple after you've done it nearly 100 times. You are going to need a few things to make this recipe work and build an impressive idea. Planning the gig. Start exploring categories that interest you on Fiverr. Choose a category you think a gig will be a good fit for your customers. Next, determine the services you are offering based on competition, quality, and your interest in it. Now go ahead and create the gig. What are you waiting for? Launching the gig. The simplest way to streamline a gig launch is to do it quickly. The most important thing that cannot be altered later is your gig URL. The title can be updated then, but the URL is permanent. Now follow along in the gig template, and this is the rule book into launching your gigs quickly and making a concept that works. It allows you to come back to it and improve and polish, but you want to be quick with your objectives and you want to see how things go. Use those analytics and make quick decisions. Number one, choose a gig title. Make sure it fits in the preview. I've added a little character counter that's going to give you green for good length and red for a long length, and it won't work on Fiverr. Include some keywords you have researched for your tags. Start with a single package and expand to other packages later. Write a 150-word description of yourself, service, and what it will do. Do not confuse customers because you are trying to offer one thing to be the one solution for their needs. There are often a lot of solutions for different needs and different customers. Expand on the frequently asked questions. Be sure to include one to start. Include the gig requirements. One is enough to launch. Make a cover image for your service. I would recommend using canva.com for this. And launch it. I know it seems like many steps, but I have the process down to where I can launch my next excellent service in about 10 minutes. This allows me to test the market and improve on it over time. Here's a more detailed walkthrough with the template. So first things first, when you get it, it's going to copy and you're going to see a copy page like this. Make sure you make a copy and you save that. But you'll get this template and all you have to do is right here is the template and just make a duplicate. Anytime you want to use it, you can just number label it or call it by different gigs. But this is where you'll put your title. This is where you'll document your category, the service type, your packages, the description, the price. This is where you're going to put in your gig description and you'll have your character count on your gigs, your tags and the keywords you'll research, the requirements that you want to enter, and then the gig extras that you may have, and also a little video script. You can put your video script here and what you want to say, and you have it all in one place. And you can just map this out. Just continue making duplicates and map all this out, and then you'll have a history of all the different gigs you've made and you've tried, so you can always come back to it. You want to document everything you do. That's why this is very important, and that's why using this template is very important to help you plan. The reason behind rapid gig creation, the reason my tips are so direct to launching a gig goes back to the 2 points I mentioned earlier in this course. I have spent tens of hours and sometimes as much as 50 hours to build one gig. It generated dozens of sales, but it was not a hit or a fit at the time. Delaying is what I see my colleagues do because they do not have this valuable advice. It only takes a lunch break to launch a gig when you are first starting. When that first sale comes, you'll be scrambling to put things together and learn by market testing. I am always guaranteeing the customer experience to be great. The gig improves with the market and the service the client is going to receive. If you are not sure, you're wasting your time and you should be getting paid for all of your research and planning. That's why making good calls and fast decisions will help you grow, because you'll be investing your time in growing your business and your client base. Now, some rapid prototyping tips. It could be very foreign to some people to do something without spending the time to map it all out, but this is a process that you have to master, and it will take you a couple of times of doing it. Using the gig template will help, but when you pick something you're passionate about, you should already know without doing too much research what the service is going to be about. If you are working in an office, but you've been doing photography 10 years and you know how to do Photoshop, it should be pretty easy for you to come up with a gig title. Make sure you practice copying competitors' gigs to think about your offer. It's always a first step to seeing what's working, and by creating a gig, it can at least launch you there, but you should also innovate and find something that's missing. That's the key. Find the gig secret that you want to do and that's missing from Fiverr, and you're going to launch an incredible gig. Follow the 8 steps to launching your gig. Do not hesitate. Create it in the template. When you are ready, pull everything together to start it and launch your gig on Fiverr. The secret to growth on Fiverr. This is a great little trick to set goals with your business. Take one Fiverr gig and multiply it by one order of magnitude. That would mean you are setting a goal of selling 10 Fiverr gigs. So this is simple. This is just goal setting. If you get one order, your next goal should be 10 orders. It gives you a moonshot every time. And as soon as you start closing those gaps between those moonshots, when you start getting 10 orders on that gig, then 100 orders is that next moonshot. So you have to really set the goals pretty far, and you have to make sure you're doing things that get you closer to your goals. The order of magnitude is an inspiration from Elon Musk. There are really 2 things that have to occur in order for a new technology to be affordable to the mass market. One is you need economies of scale. The other is you need to iterate on the design. You need to go through a few versions. This is why rapid prototyping works. This is why setting goals and setting moonshot goals work. And if you can quickly do those 2, you'll have enough time to focus on marketing and the growth of your gig and your micro business. If you're setting goals, this can be really hard, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can always improve and maximize your time. In the beginning, I set a goal to reach $100 a week on Fiverr. That was sustained by the time I reached level 2. As your business grows, so should the goals and expectations. I still set goals to grow my business by one order of magnitude, and it seems to keep working. I know it's crazy, but you have to have a moonshot in order for you to get there. The lead time gets further apart as your business begins to grow, but it is vital to set your goals. So what that means is once you get to that 100 a month on Fiverr or that $1,000 a month on Fiverr, those steps are going to take longer in between. However, that growth is going to be substantial and it's going to feel great every step of the way because you can actually see and measure your growth with the analytics dashboard that I'm going to give you in a moment. So what's the future on Fiverr? It has been a long road and I am now working on creating content to help business owners with their digital marketing. Working on Fiverr has opened my eyes to being a business owner in multiple countries, collaborating with international clients and building businesses together on Fiverr. If I were to speculate where my business will be on Fiverr in 5 years, it would probably be offering unique services available exclusively on Fiverr. Fiverr is always adding new features. For example, they have recently introduced Fiverr Pro, which has matured, and now Studios. So there's always a continuous growth on Fiverr, and that's why you have to invest your time working on Fiverr and selling services on Fiverr, because there's only unlimited upside by doing that and trying to be successful with your partnership with Fiverr. So the platform for success. So we ran out of graphic design here, but we do have some circle capabilities. We had plenty of circles in our folder for this presentation. So start every one of these steps by creating a new relationship on Fiverr. You want to make sure you build a business website, design a logo, and launch your micro business. It's important to have a business website because it can feature you, your portfolio, and get buyers to know you because they're going to Google you, they're going to look into what you're doing, and it's important that you have a professional profile and a social media profile. So make sure that you go to Fiverr, meet some sellers, and get some services to build your website, your logo, and your business. I've done this several times on Fiverr, and it's always been a great experience. And you want to apply the rapid gig motivation here. You want to do things quick. You want to make decisions quickly. You want to get things up and running. The longer you wait with inaction, the larger the opportunity for you to work on Fiverr as a buyer in addition to a seller is going to help you see tremendous results. Now, closing remarks. Be passionate about what you do and try something new. Research and explore these ideas on Fiverr. Test them and quickly launch a gig to start to succeed now. Use transparent reporting, planning, and tracking templates to sustain your business. From the first order, we spent years making these so you don't have to. Earn your first order and make sure you share your success story with us. We want to share your story to our network to inspire other entrepreneurs to succeed. Now here's special part 2, advanced Fiverr sellers. If you like this special advanced section and you want more advanced tips, let me know because I can make a ton of these and I have a ton of different things that we haven't even covered in this presentation. I just wanted to share the blueprint that can get you from 1 order to 100 orders at a time. The next set of blueprints is really making your business grow and turn into a thriving remote business. So let me know in the comments. So advanced organization, this is where you start getting a lot of different information coming into your business and you have to start planning. So this is something you might not have to worry about now, but you should come back to this video later in the future. Now these are advanced organization tips. A more advanced tip, you can share folders and documents to clients on Fiverr. This is entirely up to you and adds a more complicated layer. Managing hundreds of links could become unrealistic. All the preparation starts with your first order. You are going to spend and waste much of your time learning your business, but you will save yourself when you are slammed with 10 orders in one day. Now this is an IFTTT Overview. It's a feature that's available with Fiverr. It has been around for over 5 years. It has also not been updated in 5 years. Unfortunately, we don't have Zapier or modern features available to Fiverr, which is really slowing us down. But this is a part of the blueprint and how we've managed to grow. So the key to automation is what we can extract from Fiverr. There's a little used tool called IFTTT that can customize different actions to do various tasks automatically. So some examples about IFTTT. You can do creative things, and others are using IFTTT. You can change the lights and turn them on and off when a new order comes. You can update your calendar with new orders or when they are due. You can save reviews to Google Drive, but reviews are broken with IFTTT right now. You can track your revenue, tracking and saving order messages, and add new orders to your iPhone reminders, post positive reviews to your social network. Again, the reviews is still broken with Fiverr. Hopefully that's fixed next year. The IFTTT Solution. The value of the course is alone in the revenue tracking template. This is how we manage tens of thousands of dollars in sales each month. Let us show you the best practices to run your business. You can install the revenue template by clicking this Fiverr expense and also the Fiverr revenue dashboard that powers this dashboard right here. Let me know if there's anything missing and I can add more pages to the dashboard. So the revenue template, it's really simple to set up. I'm going to create a separate video to show you how to set this up. I'll show you how it works and how to use it, and let me show you that next. So how do you get the Google Data Studio dashboard to work? The first thing you have to do is go to IFTTT and search for the Zima Media Fiverr Expense Dashboard and the Fiverr Pro Sales Dashboard. I've only made a Fiverr Pro Sales Dashboard, but this is going to give you all the vital information. It needs to be connected into Google Sheets. Once you get your first order, it will start collecting the information. So you're going to get a date order, gig title, you'll have the client name, you'll have the revenue, and then you'll have the URL. And you need to connect this to your dashboard. Your dashboard's going to show your revenue on the last 30 days and the yearly revenue. And once you start getting more than one order a day, this green line is going to turn into the orders you're receiving on a daily basis. And this is going to show you the sales you're getting on any individual day, a breakdown of the average order per gig, also breakdown of gigs by revenue, then orders per gig breakdown here as well. It's a very handy dashboard that you're going to use when managing your business. So when you copy this, you're going to get this dashboard and it's going to ask to copy it. So you can go ahead and make a copy, and you're going to need to connect your original data source. So this is going to be your Fiverr revenue. So once you have IFTTT set up with the plug in here and it asks you to set up a dashboard, you wait for this to start sending sales data, and then you can go into your data studio and actually set this up. So you're going to have to wait for a couple orders to come in, but this will set it up and you'll be able to track your revenue. You're also free to go ahead and create your own data studio dashboards based off of this data as well, so you can have even deeper and more dense dashboards. If this is something you want to see more of, please let me know and I can show you how to make awesome dashboards and even make better dashboards for you. Fiverr Communication, the most crucial piece of technology in your entire micro business, is Fiverr itself. It is where you interact with buyers and sellers from around the world. Fiverr Communication tips is you want to make sure you reach the first response always. Personalize each message. Take time to find a single problem and offer a single solution. Always use simple explanations and even similar for confusing and dense client messages. You want to get to the point. Sometimes clients like to send a lot of information when it really doesn't have anything to do with what they're trying to achieve with one of your gigs. So it's really difficult managing hard clients, but one of the things you'll see a lot is demanding clients, and you can use this script or you can create your own script for a demanding client. We do not provide our service urgently, as marketing and ads takes time to research and set up everything properly. We collect data and optimize your campaigns for long-term success. Your competition might have done it for years and mastered it, but we need a little bit of time to master for your business and catch up. You won't find a good professional that can do that in no time. So you always have to set the expectations early. So the technology stack conclusion is, if you follow these guidelines, you'll be able to handle hundreds of clients each month, easily document the growth of your business and build a professional portfolio, expand into more multiple gigs and packages without any change to your workflow, simplify and automate parts of your business with IFTTT, become comfortable working with the Fiverr platform organization and tracking, follow the money where your gigs are growing and follow closely behind them. Try to improve, test new ideas to enhance your organization. This is the nut and bolt pricing strategy. It's one of the most interesting points in my 1000 review blog post, so I want to go into it in a little bit more depth. The biggest mistake most people do on Fiverr is over-delivering. I am not discouraging you from going above and beyond, but over-delivering is where you're going to break your back, dislike your buyers, and eventually fail. Or worse, leave Fiverr altogether. So you have to be conscious of what you're doing. Over-delivering. Always be aware the gig is supposed to solve one thing very well. Only over deliver if it is something that is a part of the soul of your gig. If it is not, you might want to do two things to handle it in the future. Over-delivering examples. If a customer is expecting something else, you need a new package or a new gig, try adding a video to explain it better, update the description, and create a PDF describing the deliverables. Consistently receiving messages and not having orders means your service is too complicated or it's confusing. If a client is expecting more work, you are overcharging, or the customer was expecting something else. Price everything using the nut and bolt pricing strategy. This means you have to know how much you would charge every single part of your workflow. The pricing strategy. I know how much everything we do costs in my business. This comes down to installing Google Analytics, which I charge $5 for a website. That is not a service I offer anymore, but I regularly have clients that need help, and it's now included in our many services. After hundreds of orders on some of my gigs, I know how much each bolt is worth because I had situations where a client wanted something that's not in the original order, or they wanted to continue the journey, which means more business. It will take a long time to find out how much each of your services cost. It is important because they can overlap and you can add bonuses to please more customers. Sales strategy upsell. This is a really difficult one to master, and it's always something with continuous improvement. If you can determine a price for different tasks and you start seeing serious interest in one part of your gig, that should automatically spark an idea for a new gig. The exercise is understanding your business and building a path for upsells. There are great articles in the Fiverr forums. I see it as a menu. I put everything together, a lot of the nuts and bolts to create multiple packages. We can easily guide my clients to more advanced packages without much confusion. Transparency will help you grow your business a lot. Now, here are my tips for creating gig packages. First, you have to start with the little gig. Find the little idea in the gig. What are you doing? Installing Google Analytics. The package gig. Combine other ideas and services to make a more significant package gig. Continue till you have a basic, standard, and premium package. The gig extras. Take your customer feedback, special requests, and build new gig extras to complement your gig and prevent you from under delivering. The bundles. Build exclusive bundles that you can share to your clients. The pro bundles. This all leads up to your final path to becoming a top-rated Fiverr Pro seller on Fiverr. These bundles are going to empower your micro business. Think about creating gigs that not only generate sales, but are something that you would want to sell on Pro. I hope you got a lot of value from this course. If there was something that I missed, just drop a comment in. I'll reach out to you personally and leave you a comment with a reply. If you speak a different language, don't worry, Google Translate makes everything possible. So leave a question. Make sure you subscribe on social media. We're going to be releasing more courses and more content around digital marketing and how to apply our philosophies to create a remote work business. We figured it out, and I think we need to open source this so other businesses can adapt the methods that we have applied to our businesses that have not only made us a lean and thriving machine, but also a successful engine that has helped our clients take advantage of our unique business model. So I hope to see you soon.